Back in the day, stealing a car took some serious effort. You either had to break open a window or pry open a door to gain access to a vehicle. And then there was the matter of cracking open the steering column so you could hotwire the ignition. Even a seasoned criminal couldn't get away with stealing a car in less than 2 minutes flat. But these days, the very same technology that's supposedly making our cars more secure is actually making car theft 10 times easier. In fact, just about anyone can steal a modern car in 10 seconds flat without breaking a sweat or even a window, all with equipment readily available on sites like Amazon. So let's see what tricks car thieves are trying to pull these days, and most importantly, how to protect your car from theft. Duplicating your car's VIN. Here's the latest car theft scam that would give computer geniuses a run for their money. Criminals copy and reproduce your car's VIN to organize a huge fraud scheme. Your car's VIN is literally your car's ID number, so by copying it, thieves create sort of a clone of your car. There are two main ways thieves can accomplish this. First, the VIN is unique for every car, so thieves copy the VIN from cars in parking lots, junkyards, car dealerships, or even from the internet. After that, they prepare all the necessary documents and fake plates. Then they find a similar car and steal it. Once they replace that car's original VIN with the one they copied, they're good to go. The car won't be considered stolen now that it has a new identity. And there's a second way that criminals can use this vehicle identity scam. One thug rents a car, then they spot another car identical to the one they've rented, and then copy its VIN. The rented car gets this new VIN. After that, the criminals offer the car for sale on the internet, or through a newspaper, presenting it as the car whose VIN they've stolen. Then an unsuspecting client buys the car. Once the criminals have the buyer's money in hand, the criminals then steal the car back. They then return it to its real VIN and take it back to the rental company. At the same time, the car whose VIN was, quote, borrowed is reported stolen and its real owner gets arrested, where he or she could be sentenced to 5 to 10 years in federal prison for a crime they did not commit. Whoa. Okay, so what can you do to prevent this? That's pretty easy. Keep the VIN on your car covered up and don't reveal this information unless you absolutely need to. The GPS tracker trick. This dangerous car scam is one that involves a new generation of GPS trackers that criminals attach to your car. At first, these trackers are used by law enforcement, military, or elite CIA special operations units, with the aim of tracking criminals and terrorists. But nowadays, anybody can get their hands on one of these devices, simply by purchasing one online. These GPS trackers are also called magno trackers, since they stick to your car magnetically. They attach themselves so easily that criminals can throw these things outside of their car window and onto your vehicle as they pass you on the highway. Some of them can even be shot from special cannons. Criminals can use these magno GPS trackers to stalk their victims and find out when they're at home or work or wherever. There was a case when a jealous ex-husband was planning to attack his ex-wife by using data he had been collecting from the magno tracker that he secretly attached to her car. Luckily, the tracker was noticed by a mechanic when she was having her car serviced and was removed before the jealous ex-husband's plan was hatched. What's even scarier is that these GPS trackers can inform criminals about your location even when you're in another country. So if you discover a tracker on your car, be extremely cautious. If it's particularly noticeable, then it may be for a good reason. Sometimes criminals attach them as a ruse to get you to pull over to the side of the road, get out of your car, and take it off. And it's at this moment when car thieves will try to attack and rob you. They might even wait till you get home, figuring out where you live, and then plan a late night home invasion while you sleep. On the other hand, if you find such a device and find it in a well-hidden place like underneath your car or nestled deep in your engine bay, it's a real cause for concern because now you know that these sophisticated criminals are targeting you and you alone. So if you find a magnetic tracker attached to your car, take it off in a totally random place that's far from your home and where you work. After you remove the tracker, take a picture of the device, leave it on the ground, and drive away as far as possible, and call the police. Hopefully with this information, law enforcement will have a better chance of catching those who use magno trackers illegally. The car alarm trick. If you live in an apartment building, you really need to pay attention to this next scheme. Car thieves set the alarm off in your car in the dead of night. You as a polite and conscientious neighbor often feel uncomfortable disturbing and waking up others, so you disable your alarm, and that's exactly what the thieves want. Now nothing is stopping them from picking the locks, starting the ignition, and driving away with your precious car. Some ways to avoid this scheme are removable steering wheels and kill switches, or just pretend to be deaf and ignore the screams of your alarm. Remote car hacking. We live in a world of constant technological development. That's why it's no surprise that new generation car thieves are using new gadgets to steal vehicles. Criminals are hacking into the latest keyless systems. To gain access to the newest models, several thieves hold special radio transmitters near the doors, windows, or walls of the car owner's house. These transmitters intensify the signal coming from the key fobs, which are obviously kept inside or often close to the front door. The thief's transmitter mimics the car's key and pings the car's locking system. The locking system automatically responds and sends a signal to the key, and the key is supposed to pick up this signal and respond to it. The transmitter of the first thief directs the locking system signal to the transmitter of another criminal standing close to the house, and this second transmitter in turn forwards the signal to the key fob. The key fob sends back the right response, which the transmitter amplifies and sends to the first transmitter. It's then passed on to the car's locking system. After all this complicated signal picking, the car door is open, the ignition is started, and you could basically kiss your car goodbye. To prevent this, if you have a car with keyless entry, look into getting a special radio signal deactivation option. It can prevent this abuse of the key signalization. Don't be hesitant about special devices that can protect your car, like a kill switch. A kill switch is a device that stops power to the engine, making it impossible to start your car until you disable it. The only problem with kill switches is that it's not easy to install one yourself, so if you don't have the best wiring skills, you probably need to see a mechanic. Even if these guys do break into your car, you can outsmart them by having a removable steering wheel. Sure, some car thieves are good drivers, but even they can't control a car without a steering wheel. Yeah, you might look a little weird walking into a business meeting or a date with a removable steering wheel, but remember, it's always better safe than sorry. The clothes on your windshield trick. People have recently started finding random articles of clothing, like a shirt for instance, lying on their windshield or wrapped up in their windshield wipers. If you ever happen to be one of these people, don't fall into this trap by trying to remove the object. Instead, just get in your car and drive away as fast as humanly possible. That's because that seemingly misplaced garment is actually a new and highly effective trick being used by muggers and thieves. It works like this. If you see some random piece of clothing that prevents your wipers from moving or obscures your view, of course your first reaction will be to remove it. Unfortunately, while you're distracted and tying or trying to get it off your windshield, the criminal has plenty of time to jump you. The most common location for this sort of scam is parking garages. They're usually badly lit and pretty deserted, which means that there are few witnesses around and plenty of dark spaces for your attacker to lie in wait. The PA system trick. As soon as there's some public gathering or a big party or even a busy day at the mall, these criminals make an announcement over the PA system that a particular car, chosen by them of course, has blocked their vehicle in and that they can't leave. As soon as the owner comes out to move his car, a group of guys, often armed to the teeth, are ready to jump the owner. They assume, and for good reason, that the person is carrying their key to their car, so they make the victim get in the car with them. This is pretty easy to do if it's at gunpoint. As for the outcome this could have, that often depends. So to prevent such a situation from happening to you, don't immediately rush out to your car, and certainly don't go alone. Also, don't go directly to your car. Check from a distance if your car is really blocking another one. If you confirm that you're really preventing another car from driving away, check if there's a driver in the car that you've blocked. And please be very cautious when coming out to your vehicle. Always watch your surroundings. The fake mechanic trick. Another way a car thief can get close to your vehicle is by posing as a mechanic. They start working in a garage, a dealership, or a car wash. As soon as they notice the model that they've been after, the work is done. They already have your key and they don't even need to break in. What else can a car thief ask for? The only thing you can do here to prevent this from happening is to service your car in trusted places. Don't go back alley just to save a buck. The stalking trick. Now we've seen some pretty intricate, convoluted, and let's just admit it, pretty ingenious schemes so far. Well, this next one is probably the simplest yet most dangerous, so listen up carefully. Some thieves will hang out around grocery stores and major supermarkets and stalk their prey, so to say. They'll wait for a lone shopper to walk to their car with all of their grocery bags and sneak up behind them, and either demand the keys and drive off, or abduct the car owner and who knows what else after that. There are some effective steps that you can take to prevent this. Avoid going to the grocery store late in the evening or at night. This scheme is almost only used when it's dark out. Try not to go to the grocery store alone. These guys target the most vulnerable victims. Also, don't park your car far away from the store's entrance. If there aren't any spots closer to the store's entrance, keep circling the lot until one opens up. I think we can all agree that your safety is more important than your time. The coin trick. Finally, there have recently been some heated discussions on the internet about this new trick being used by car thieves, and that's a trick that involves a coin. They slip it into the space between the door and the door handle. When the car owner thinks that they've locked the door with a remote, the vehicle is in fact still open. The coin prevents the lock on one of the doors from working. As soon as the owner walks away from the car, the thief has no problem at all opening the door and driving away. Well guys, that's why if you see a coin in your car door handle, you should run and call the police. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, if you like what you see at the channel, subscribe and put post notifications on. You could also follow the channel on Instagram at Modern Muscle YT. Also, if you guys like the channel, want to support it more, want exclusive content, go to patreon.com/modernmuscle and be a patron. I'm Jeff for Modern Muscle, and I'll see ya next time.